You've been asked to find scholarly journal articles for your research project. So what does scholarly journal really mean, and how can you determine if a source is scholarly? Scholarly sources require two elements. The author or authors must have credentials in their fields, and the publishing methods must be scholarly. Let's take a look at an example. This professor writes a blog about topics in psychology and neuroscience. You can see a few articles here about the professor's newest edition of her textbook on the subject of psychology. When I check the About information, it looks like Laura Freeberg has the educational credentials to write this blog, and the information is likely reliable. If you were to want to find another publication by Dr. Freeberg, you could try a search in OneSearch. Select Advanced under the OneSearch search box. Enter the author's name into the search box. This article comes up, Who are the Social Media Influencers? A Study of Public Perception of Personality. One of the authors of this article is the same Laura Freeberg from California Polytechnic. So are both of these sources scholarly, or is only one? In both cases, there's element number one. The author has appropriate credentials. But in the first case, for the blog, it is a self-published document. It's not a scholarly publication. In other words, the author is able to share her thoughts directly with no editorial or vetting process. The other publication is an article published in Public Relations Review, which is an academic journal where scholars and professionals publish research findings. So for the second resource, the publication method is scholarly. In this situation, though the blog would likely be considered reliable, it is not a scholarly resource, whereas the article is a scholarly resource. The same issue comes up with social media posts and tweets from scholars. The information may be valid, but these are direct communications that are not considered scholarly. What is the scholarly publishing process? There are lots of terms you may hear, including scholarly, academic, and peer-reviewed. Usually, scholarly and academic mean the same thing. When looking at journals, magazines, and other methods for publishing articles, a certain percentage will be considered scholarly or academic. These journals are geared towards researchers, scholars, or practitioners within specific fields. The articles are written by people with credentials in their fields, and their journal went through some type of review process. Review processes help ensure that articles include valid research data and methodology for specific fields. Sometimes, review is done by an editor or a group of editors. At other times, journals go through a process called peer review. Peer review means that article submissions to a particular journal are shared with other scholars in the field who volunteer to review the work and make sure that it measures up to standards within their discipline. Peer review is usually considered the most rigorous form of review. Peer review may also be combined with editorial review. Among academic journals, only a certain percentage follow the peer review process. The university libraries subscribes to academic journals that are available in a variety of database collections and searchable through OneSearch. If you have any questions about whether a source is scholarly or peer-reviewed, contact us with the Ask a Librarian service available from the University Library's homepage. Chat, text, call, email, or stop by the reference desk.